are you people?
You ever wonder how I got introduced into Sega in the first place that's not a Sonic game? Yeah, me neither. I can't really remember what was my first non-Sonic Sega game that I first played.
As you can tell, my whole childhood has always been about one series, being of course Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I did have other games that I did enjoy, like Mario, various Lego games, and other standalone titles from other IPs. But for some reason, Sonic was always my go-to series every time.
Now, what if I told you there was a series of Sega games out there that not only has Sonic as playable character, but also has other Sega IPs?
Look none other than SEGA Superstars Tennis. This was my very first introduction to other Sega characters outside of Sonic.
I actually have a bit of a story to tell you about how I got this copy of the game. You see, back in my childhood, there's this shopping center that used to sell video games. In fact, it's actually the same place that I bought Sonic Heroes for the PC.
This place used to sell new games, but most of their gallery were classic titles.
And among them was SEGA Superstars Tennis for the PlayStation 2.
I couldn't believe it when I saw Sonic on the cover of a game that I never owned among many other characters I'd soon get to know. Now, when the game was being sold, I saw that it was on sale for only £10. I remember I went to my mom and I told her that there was a new Sonic game on the shelf, and funny enough, she said yes. I was really happy on that very day. Not only did I see a game that I wanted, but also buy it on the exact same day. But unfortunately, something happened where I walked out of that store empty-handed with no game. You see, when we went to go buy the game, one of the store workers decided to, I kid you not, call me a liar for attempting to buy the game for a lower price.
Excuse me? You're gonna say all of that to an 8-year-old?
From what happened is that although the price tag said £10, they wanted to charge me for the actual game price, which was £30. A massive fight happened between my mom and the worker, and we ended up leaving the area with no game in hand.
Can you imagine what baby me must have looked like at that time?
But things were getting even better from here. It was a Friday and I was getting ready to go over to my dad's house. And of course, I always used to take a console with me to his place, so I could enjoy games while I was at his house. My mom insisted that I take my PS2 this time for an unknown reason. So I took it with me to my dad's, and once I got to his place, I was surprised to see that there was a wrapped gift on the table. It was none other than SEGA Superstars Tennis.
Turns out, not only was the price of the game that I saw real, but also the worker that lied to me also got into big trouble.
That's what you get for messing with a SEGA fan, you basic bitch!
So, without questioning at all, I played this at my dad's house that weekend, and that's the end of it.
Since then, more Sonic and SEGA games came out, and I do enjoy them, but there's one thing that I now want to do after playing almost all of them. So, let's look back at this series specifically.
Which means we need to go even further back than SEGA Superstars Tennis. Let me introduce you to...
Zooming into a city that's just too clean, I'm not gonna lie. Sonic running down the road, passing through other SEGA characters with Billy Hatcher and Knights joining him. Along with such a banger of an intro theme that loves to call the characters and us the player... Yeah, take that, Glamrock Freddy. This is an exclusive PS2 game that was specifically made for the iToy. Yes, that one thing that was made before the Kinect was a thing. This is a minigame collection featuring SEGA characters with games based on each series. Representing, we got Sonic the Hedgehog, Crazy Taxi, Knights, Virtua Fighter, Samba de Amigo, Super Monkey Ball, House of the Dead, Space Channel 5, Choo Choo Rocket, Billy Hatcher, Puyo Puyo Fever, and Virtua Striker. That's a lot of IP right there.
Now, I never really played this game, mostly because I just don't own it. So the only thing that I have to go off of this game is this amazing intro cutscene.
With Sonic, you control him with your hand in a special stage that seems to be very similar to the one seen in Sonic Heroes. Collect rings, avoid bombs, collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds to become Super Sonic, and reach the goal with a high score. Samba de Amigo has you dance to the beat of the music where you put your hands in the right circle, just like as if you were shaking your maracas. Super Monkey Ball has you use your arms to control the stage and guide Ai to the goal. Knights is almost the same, but you control them as they fly around the stage. And for Virtua Fighter, well, you beat the living shit.
That's just a few of the games that you can play in this collection. Now, if I still had my iToy camera, I'd still be able to borrow the game from Nathan since he actually owns the game. Sadly, he's still missing. And I don't want to touch anything. I've been told it's a very fun game to play.
This was also one of the few iToy games that were ever made. Not a lot of games for the iToy were actually made. I don't know why.
So after this game came out, SEGA took a while yet to make another crossover game. No, not you. We'll talk about you some other time.
In 2008, SEGA asked everyone one simple question.
Anyone for tennis? Nice game.
We finally get to SEGA Superstars Tennis. It's just a tennis game with SEGA characters. Okay, yeah, it might be a little bit more than that, alright? Let me just get into the details. It's actually got various minigames other than tennis itself. Collect rings in Sonic-themed levels. Hit Monkey Ball characters into the goal. Hit zombies with your tennis balls. And use tennis balls to draw graffiti on the ground.
Okay, yeah, most of these games are tennis-themed, but it's nice to see a spin added to it with each court based on a different SEGA IP. We also got the introduction of the Superstar move that allows the characters to get a higher chance on winning. To do this, all you need to do is hit the ball back and forth until the star icon beneath you starts spinning. I'm not gonna lie, this move is great at times, but once you use it, one wrong move and it resets completely.
It's all about that sweet timing and confidence that you can hit the ball back. To be honest, I still haven't finished playing this game. I still got some unlockable stuff to unlock. So if you guys want me one day to stream this game or just make a random video on it, let me know in the comments and I will be sure to do it. I will.
After SEGA Superstars Tennis, the series had a 2-year gap between game releases. Not only that, but the series from this point forward was sort of rebranded, going from SEGA Superstars to Sonic and SEGA All-Stars. Why the change? I don't know, but it kinda does fit with Sonic being the main character of these games.
And the next game would be Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing.
Why put Sonic in a car, SEGA? With the success of Mario Kart, a lot of other developers decided to make their own spin on the kart racing genre, like Crash Bandicoot got a racing series and Nickelodeon did it with their IPs. I mean, heck, even Garfield hopped on this.
Now, we did get Sonic, both Drift titles and the Sonic Riders trilogy. But it did not take SEGA that long to make another crossover game with their IP characters.
Out of all the SEGA Superstars games, this one is my favorite. Now, I own the Wii version, which is probably the hardest version out there since it uses motion controls to move your car. Yep, just like in Mario Kart Wii. Funny enough, some of the different versions were planned to have exclusive content. For instance, the Xbox 360 version of the game has Banjo-Kazooie and Metal Sonic as playable characters.
The Wii version originally had Mario as an idea as a playable character, but Nintendo seemed to have dropped out of that idea, and instead you now get to play as your Mii in this game.
Now, although I mentioned that I own the Wii copy, I also own the PC copy, which is probably the version you're seeing on screen right now. This game is a hella fun. You get to race with SEGA characters with karts based on their personalities and series. For example, Sonic has a regular car, while Tails flies in a small little plane. Eggman uses his Eggmobile and it turns it into a monster truck, while Shadow uses his bike from the Shadow the Hedgehog opening cinematic. As for others, Ai uses a banana-themed cart, Ulala flies in a little pod, and BD Joe in his taxi. There's also a shop in the game that allows you to purchase more unlockable characters, music, and racetracks. All in-game, by the way, along with its own campaign full of missions to complete. We also have the returning Superstar feature now renamed to All-Star. This is basically what if every SEGA character had a Final Smash-like move, similar to what Smash Bros. Brawl did. If you're stuck behind and you by random luck manage to get an All-Star, it just helps you reach closer to first place, while you're invincible. It also gives you like an extra attack and a boost so that it helps you clear out the other races in the track.
Now, I'm not going to spoil the entire game for you guys. I really do encourage you guys to give it a playthrough, whether it's on console or PC. I do encourage you guys to play it. If you have not played this yet, go and play it. There's not really anything else I can say about this game other than it's like super fun. Now we get on to the last game that's on this list, and there's actually a bit of a backstory into this game.
Once again, another 2 years goes by, and we get the release of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, the sequel game to the last racing game. This game tried something different, and different it was. Not only was it a road racing game, but you could now race on land, water,
I hate the ocean!
and sky.
I'm afraid of heights!
This game's main mechanic is the transform moments, where throughout each race, your car will transform into either a boat or a plane. This was an interesting concept which also brought unique racetrack ideas, like flying through Sky Sanctuary or driving on the road and then circle round on sea in the Outrun level. Now, although not my favorite in the series, this game is also a banger. Now, I said that this game has a bit of a story to it, and yeah.
Well, by the looks of it, Transform was being developed right at the exact same time as Mario Kart 7 was being developed for the Nintendo 3DS, which was a game that started doing a transition of doing racing on the land, sea, and sky.
With Mario Kart 7 releasing first, it kinda made SEGA and Sumo Digital look bad, thinking that they had copied the idea from them. However, that wasn't the case. Transformed was also the game that released alongside the Disney movie Wreck-It Ralph, which means that Ralph is a playable character. As also part of some extra DLC, content creator Yogscast was added to the game for raising money for special effect. For the PC version of the game, Team Fortress characters also made an appearance as playable characters. And once again, we get the grand return of the All-Star move. Most moves had been changed. For example, in the first game, Sonic would turn into Super Sonic, but in this one, he has his car turned into a plane and proceeds to spin dash his way forward to clear out the other races. The items also got a big change from being SEGA-based items to generic random items. A blowfish, baseball glove, a remote-controlled cart that serves as this game's red shell. What happened here? Why the sudden change?
I'm not really bothered by this, it's just a bit of a shame. This game also has a campaign full of missions for you to do to unlock new characters.
The shop is gone and not that many unlockables this time, other than the pins for you to add your license card in-game. This game also has a coin mechanic. Collect coins and you can use them to gamble before a race. If you're lucky, you can start a race with an item already equipped with you. And that's where we're at.
Unfortunately, no other SEGA crossover game was ever made as of yet, and the next racing game to ever be made by both SEGA and Sumo Digital would be Team Sonic Racing, but that one's mostly just Sonic focused.
Even though this short crossover series has ended for now, I do wish we got another SEGA crossover title for consoles. We did get some mobile games like Sega Heroes, which is an RPG type of game, and the Japanese exclusive Sega Splash Golf, which is based on, well, golf.
Overall, I really do enjoy this series of games, and I hope to see another SEGA crossover game down the road eventually, whether if it is developed by Sumo Digital or not. Whether if it would be a minigame title, a sports title, or another racing title. Maybe one day, who knows? Anyways, that was the SEGA All-Stars Series, a series of games that I really do enjoy. Now, if you yourself don't mind, I gotta go and do something real quick, cause I gotta go and... Who the fuck be knocking at this hour? Wow, I guess I'm gonna start smashing some people. That wasn't a sex joke!